This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friend, good evening in this Business Intelligence Master Program. So in today's session, we are going to talk about Databricks integration with Azure SQL database and the Azure SQL database. So today we are going to understand how to connect to the SQL database from Databricks and the SQL data warehouse from Databricks. Okay, so in today's session, we will see Databricks to SQL database connectivity overview diagram. Then we will see how to read data from SQL database. Then once we read the data into the Databricks, we will do some kind of a transformation. Then we want to write this data from data as a table. Maybe you want to write this data from data into another table in SQL database. How to write, we will see. Next, we will see Databricks to SQL data warehouse connectivity overview diagram. Then we will see blob storage as a staging path, because you cannot write data into data warehouse directly. You need to use something called staging path. How you can use this staging path we will discuss. Then we will see, once we have a staging path available, how you can read the data from SQL data warehouse to the data into the Databricks. Once you read the data from data warehouse to the Databricks, you will apply some kind of a transformation again. After this transformation, you can write this data back to the SQL data warehouse, maybe in another table. Okay, so these are the things we will discuss. Let's start with the Databricks to SQL database overview diagram. See, my data source today is SQL database. SQL database means, we know, right? We will have a tables. We will have data in terms of a tables, right? So maybe we have a table in SQL database. That table I want to read it into Databricks. Once I read this table into Databricks, I will apply some transformation. Then I will write data back to the another table. Maybe I have source table and target table in my database. From source table, I will read the data. I will apply some transformation. After applying the transformation, resultant data, I want to write it into the target table. Okay, so for that, SQL database, all the username password, I will keep it in Azure keyword. Then from Azure Databricks, if I want to connect to the SQL database, what I will do, I will ask my Databricks to connect to the keyword. With the help of keyword, it will get the username and password, because we will have a username and password in the Azure keyword to connect to the SQL database. So my Databricks will go to the keyword, it will get the username and password. With the help of those username and password, it will connect to the SQL database for reading the data and writing the data. Okay, I'm explaining overview diagram once again. My data will be there in a database. Let's imagine I have two tables, source table and target table. I want to read source table data. I will apply some kind of a transformation on source table. Result and data, I want to write it into my target table. So for that, I need to connect to the SQL database from Databricks. Okay, how you will connect? You need some username and password. That username and password, of SQL database, I will store it in a keyword. From keyword, Databricks should read the username and password. Once Databricks read the username and password from keyword, with the help of those things, it will connect to the SQL database. Once it is connected, it can able to read the data, it can able to write the data back to the SQL database. Okay, this is what will happen. Next, read table into data frame. How to read SQL database table into data frame is, see, first you need to get the JDBC URL. Okay, so I will tell you how to get JDBC URL. Then you need to form this something called dictionary. This is dictionary. I don't know how many of you remember. Connection properties colon. This is a, see, key value. So user equal to username, you need to get it from the keyword. Password equal to password, you need to get it from the keyword. Driver information, this is the fixed. To connect to the SQL database, this is the driver you need to use. This driver will have a all the internal code which is required to connect to the SQL database from the Databricks. So you need to use this driver. So once we have username and password driver, okay, we have server name, database name, isn't it? Next, port number. So if we have all these, here you have server name, database name, port number. Here you have username, password, and driver. With the help of these two, I can able to read the data, something like this. Spark.read.jdbc, URL equal to JDBC URL, this URL, table equal to whatever table you want to read, properties equal to this connection properties, username and password I can able to pass. Here you are reading entire table. So I want to read only some part of the data. So you can say select CAD from cust. Only CAD column I am selecting. The result I will keep it in a some temporary table called cust. So you need to give something like that. A result you need to assign to some other table, something like this cust. Okay. So property is equal to connection properties. Connection property means what? Username, password, driver you have, and you see URL equal to JDBC URL. URL equal to JDBC URL means, see, you have SQL server, you have database, then you are going to pass the port number. Okay. See here what will happen? This is server name, this is the host name, then you have port number, this is the database name. I will tell you how to get all these and how you can able to read the data from database. So once you read the data, you have done some transformation, same URL, same connection properties you need to use to connect to the SQL database, but this time you want to write means data frame dot write dot JDBC, URL equal to same URL, table equal to which table you want to write, cust, mode equal to overwrite or append. Overwrite means to the existing data you want to overwrite means you remove the existing data in a table and write this new data. So that is the meaning of overwrite. Okay, property equal to connection properties. What properties will have? Username, password, driver. Okay, so second way is you can say append. Append means to the existing data. If you want to append some new data, then you need to go with append. You can go with overwrite and append. So both the things are possible. Okay, so this is the URL connection properties are important for connecting to the SQL database. Once you connected, instead of saying spark.read.csv, spark.read.parquet, here you can say spark.read.jdbc. Okay, in the same way, if you want to write df.write.jdbc. Okay, so something like that you can able to use this. Clear? Now let's move on to the Databricks to the SQL data warehouse overview diagram. How you can connect to the SQL data warehouse from Databricks. Now my data source is Azure Synapse Analytics. So Azure Synapse Analytics, from Azure Synapse Analytics, that is nothing but Azure SQL data warehouse. You cannot read the data directly. It is not possible to read data directly. What you need to do, you need to load data into some staging layer. Okay, see, first Azure Synapse Analytics credentials, I will keep it in Azure keyword. Next, I will use Azure Blob Storage as my staging layer. So what it means, my Azure Blob keys also I will keep it in Azure keyword. Okay, now I have what are the things I have in Azure keyword? Data warehouse credentials and blob credentials. I have a Databricks. Databricks will go to the keyword. It will get the all necessary necessary information. Once it get, what it will do, it will connect to the blob, it will connect to the Azure Synapse. What happens initially is Azure Synapse will load data into blob storage. From blob storage, data will be read into the Databricks. In the same way, once data is processed, again Databricks will load data into Azure blob storage. From Azure blob storage, data will be loaded into Azure Synapse Analytics. So everything will happen at once. Okay, everything will happen at once, but data will traveled via blob storage and reach blob Databricks. In the same way, from Databricks, if data wants to write to the SQL data warehouse, data will travel over blob storage and it reaches the SQL data warehouse. Okay, next, see, blob storage as a staging path. Then what you need to do, you need to configure your blob storage. Okay, you need to set the blob credentials, because our notebook should access the blob storage to read the data from the blob storage. So here spark.config.set. Okay, here you need to use storage. Into which storage you are writing the data, that particular storage account key. This account key I'm going to pass it through the Azure keyword again. You see Azure. So this is how you need to set it. Now temp path syntax, how to set the temp path. See, was bs : / container name @storage account name .blob.code.windows.net. So what it indicates, container name, whatever data your data warehouse is writing into the blob storage, in blob storage, which storage it is writing, you will mention here. To access this storage, you are giving the key here. But in a storage, you may have a multiple containers. In which container you want to write the data. So that's why container name, into which container you want to load the data. Storage account name, you need to tell the storage account name. What is the, in which storage, in which container you are loading the data. Okay, you need to tell. This is how you need to form the temp path. Okay, you will come to know more details. Read table into data frame. How to read table into data frame? You see, get some data from an Azure Synapse table using blob as a staging path. So now this is how I'm going to read data from Azure Synapse, Azure SQL data warehouse into Databricks. Spark.read format is com.databricks.spark.sqldw. Option URL equal to, this is JDB's URL. Option temp directory. Temp directory means data from Azure SQL data warehouse. Data will be loaded into this temporary path. This temp directory means container name, storage name. In this storage, in this container, data will be loaded. From there, data will be read and created. We will create the data frame. Okay, so to access this particular storage, you need to say forward Spark Azure storage credentials true. What it means, I already set the Spark configurations. In Spark configurations, I set the access key. If you remember, let's go here. You see, you set the already spark.config.set. You set the block key. So that's what I'm saying here. Forward that particular keys to this particular connection. Okay, when you are establishing the connection, just to forward the storage credentials as well, because data should be loaded from data warehouse to the blob storage. From blob storage, data will be read as a data frame. This is nothing but a poly base. Okay, this is nothing but a poly base. Now you need to tell option DB table equal to which table you want to read it from the data. That table name you need to say dot load. You just have to say load. Okay, you will read the data, you will do some transformation. Finally, I want to write data frame as a table. How to write data frame as a table is simple. df.write.mode. So mode is important, whether you want to write append mode or overwrite mode, you need to type. Format, so same format, URL, temp directory, forward Spark Azure storage credentials true. Then you need to say DB table, into which table you want to write this data. Same, once you know how to read, so how to write the data is very, very simple. Okay, these are the slides I have. Let's quickly go and create Azure SQL data warehouse. First, we will create Azure SQL data warehouse. The reason is it will take some 15 to 20 minutes. So once we create SQL data warehouse, we will leave it as is. Then we will completely focus on a SQL database. First, basically, I will create data warehouse, but we will try to see how to connect to the SQL database first. Okay, the reason is why I am creating SQL data warehouse first. It will take more time. SQL DW. See, now the name has changed to dedicated SQL codes. Click on this. Click add to create the data warehouse. Just click create. You can say cloud funded BA master program. Click OK. Okay, SQL full name. You can say cloud funded SQL DW, SQL data warehouse. So I want to create a server. Exactly how you will create SQL database, you need to create in the same way. But it's a data warehouse where you will have a multiple disk in the back. Cloud funded SQL server for DW. Okay, I'm just giving username. I'm just saying password. Okay, and your subscription does not have access to create server in the selected region for the latest information about region availability. So when you get these kind of error, you need to do something. I will tell you. First, go to the SQL server. Let's search here SQL server. SQL server. See here you have SQL server. Just click on this. Click add to create the SQL server. Okay, so there is no error here. Okay, so I'll just say Azure subscription 1. Here you can say cloud funded BI master program. Click OK. So my server name I will say cloud funded server for DW data warehouse. In which location? East US. Username I'll just enter. I will enter password. So password is matched. Now click review plus create. No additional charges. Click create. Let's see what will happen. Submit a deployment. Let's wait some time. Okay, because once the server is available, then only you can able to create your database, data warehouse, right? So first let's create a one more server, because whatever server I have created just now, that is for the data warehouse, right? So I want to create a one more server for database. Let's click on SQL server. So select the existing resource group. So I will just say cloud funded. See cloud funded server for DB database. East to west, and just enter username. Just using. Okay, just click review plus create. Click create. Okay. Now once the server is created, then immediately you can able to create the data warehouse, database, all these things. Okay. So meanwhile, until this database, data warehouse get created, what I want to create is I want to create a Azure Databricks. Let's come here. So don't confuse, because these are just I'm creating the resources. So if you're confusing at this particular at the beginning, so it will be very difficult for you to understand the things. Okay, so simply I have created two servers. Why I have created two servers? Because I was not able to create the database directly. So what we were doing as of today is we are creating servers on the fly when we are creating databases, data warehouse. But as it is throwing some errors, so I just created the servers from the servers option. So later, once the servers are available, I will create the data warehouse and database. The data warehouse server is available, I can just launch it. So database server is also will come up soon. So meanwhile, I'll just create the Azure Databricks. Let's click Azure Databricks. Click add to create the Azure Databricks. Okay, resource group is this, and this is cloud funded ADB. Click review plus create. Validating. Click create. Now come here. Click on Azure keyword. Okay, we need a keyword, right? Just search for keywords. Click on keywords. Click add to create the keyword. Okay, resource group is this one. Azure keyword cloud funded AKV 0119. Click preview plus create. Running validation and create it. Okay. Now come here. Portal.azure.com. So what else is left? So I need to create some storage, because whenever you want to write data, whenever you want to read data from the data warehouse, you need a some staging layer. That is, I am using a blob storage as a staging layer. Okay, just click add to create the blob storage. Resource group is this. In my storage, I will say cloud funded as staging. Cloud funded as staging. Click review plus create. Okay, validation pass, you can create it. Okay, now come here. See, two servers are available. Two servers are available. So I'll just do one thing. Just come here. Let's create a data warehouse first. Data warehouse means you just say SQLDB. It will tell you formerly known as SQL data warehouse, but now it is called as a dedicated SQL pools. Just click add. Pool means group, right? So group of SQL databases you will have at the back. Okay. Now you see cloud funded SQLDB. So which server I am using? DB. It's not a DB, it should be a DW, because I have created a cloud funded server for DW, server for SQLDB. Okay. You need a server. See, example, I already explained. I am not sure how many of you remember. Server is nothing but a who will just serve the data, but data will be there in a database. So how we have kitchen and how the people will serve in hotel, right? So kitchen where we will have entire data. So servant will just serve the food. In the same way, all the data will be there in this database. Okay, multiple databases we have. So from those database, if you want to get the data, you need a server. Okay? Now performance level, whenever you are getting data, whenever you are reading data from data warehouse, you need to select this performance level. So max you can go with 100C. Okay, so the cost is 1.5 US dollars per hour. Click apply. Okay, 100C is more than enough. Then click review plus create. Click create. Okay. So data warehouse will take some time to create, but it will create. Now right click on this, click duplicate. So data warehouse already. So it is, we submitted the request, it will create data warehouse. Now come here. We'll just go back. It's a SQL database I want to connect. The SQL database means this one. You can see here. Okay, do one thing. It's a SQL database. So search here SQL database. So this is SQL databases. Click on that. Click add to create the SQL database. Okay, this is the resource group. In database name I will say cloud funded SQLDB. So yeah, this is the server I have created for database, cloud funded server for DB. Just click review plus create. Click create. Okay. So now we just created the database, data warehouse, key vault, staging, blob storage, and the Databricks. Now let's leave everything aside and let's focus on only how to read data from SQL database. Okay, I want to read data from SQL database. Okay, from where you want to read data? From Databricks. From Databricks, I want to read data from database. Okay, for that, go to Databricks first. Okay, click go to resource. Databricks, because from Databricks I want to read a database table, right? Just click launch workspace. Databricks, I am opening Databricks because from Databricks I want to read data from database. Signing you in, so it will sign in. Okay, So we need to create the cluster first. Okay, let's come to cluster, click create cluster. So you give the cluster name as Cloud Pandit demo. So we have different modes, right? Icon concurrency standard. Let's go with single node because icon concurrency and standard nodes are not supported for the free subscription. And this I'll just say 60 minutes. So if you're not submitting any job for 60 minutes, cluster will be stopped automatically. Click create cluster. So cluster will be created. Now, meanwhile, I want to connect to the key vault from. I want to connect to the key vault from your SQL. I want to connect to the key vault from Databricks. For that, just remove this after .NET. Whatever you have removed that, just to say here secrets slash create scope. Enter. Okay, the scope name. Scope name is this is a AKV connection. AKV connection, Azure keyword connection. So who all can access this one? All users. I can say all users. DNS name. So DNS name means go to your Azure keyword, go to properties, take this value URI, come here, just put this DNS name here, come back, select this resource ID, come here, paste this resource ID here and click. See, secret scope named AKV connection has been added, automatically created. Now connection is available. Now first, I want to connect to the database. Okay, Databricks to SQLDB connection. Wait. So in which language we have created notebook in Python? You can see. Okay, this is my first cell. So here I want to put all my code. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just get all my code from. So you can just go and browse your website. So if you browse in Google, you will get, like, if you go to the documentation, you will get all these things. And that is one way. So second way is you can just, I will share maybe I'll just share this particular code snippet. You can save it somewhere. Okay, that is up to you. However you want to use, you can able to use. Okay, but now what I have done is I just copied all these things into our Databricks notebook. Now what you need to understand, so okay, you are not aware of what is this JDBC URL, right? I will tell you how to get this JDBC URL. So you just remove this entire thing, this thing. I don't want, you just remove it. I will tell you. Okay, let it be for now. Come to database. Sorry, come to database. Click and go to resource. First thing that we need to do is just click set server firewall. Yeah, I will tell you, we need to set server firewall for many things, not only for this. Yeah. Now go to connection strings in database, click on JDBC. We have seen from JDBC, you copy till database. Okay. Copy this. Okay, otherwise you copy everything. I will tell you what you need to remove. See, you just remove this, whatever is there from your documentation, you keep it here. So this should be in a double quotes or double quotes, single quotes, anything is fine. After database is Cloud and SQLDB. So whatever you have, you just remove everything. Okay. So username, if you want to read it from a keyword, you can just use this code. If it is username, simple username, I want to okay, I'll just expose that. You can just use the username, my name. Password, I don't want to expose password, so I will read it from a keyword. Okay, so for that, first you need to keep the password in your Azure keyword. Go to Azure keyword, click on secrets, click generate / import. Here you can say SQLDB password. SQLDB password. Oh, I need to put the password. I kept the password created. SQLDB password. Okay, this is the password. The secret is added. Now come here. So here at key name, you need to replace with your secret name. Now scope name, can anybody tell me what is the scope name? AKV connection. AKV connection is my scope. My password, I am going to get it from the Azure keyword. Username is this and my database is this. Okay. Oh, sorry, my server is this, my database is this, port number is 1433. Now I want to read this data. Okay, I want to simply read the data. Okay, see spark.read.jdbc URL equal to this URL I am passing. Table, which table I am trying to read? I am trying to read a custom table, but custom table is already available or not? No, custom table is not available. Next, properties equal to connection properties, whatever I passed. But custom table is not available, isn't it? So whether we have table or not, we don't have table. Okay. So what you need to do, let's try to, instead of reading the data, first I will write the data. First I will write the data. Understood? You understood, friends? So for writing the data, you do something like this. df, where is your df? Df I will create here itself. Df equal to spark dot create data frame. You can say simply how to create PID, CNAME, C location. Okay, something like that. These are the column names. So first record, second record, third record. Okay. So first record, one ID is one. His name is Rama. Is from Bangalore. Next, two, Krishna is from Chennai. Three, Sai is from Hyderabad. Something like this. Okay. Now this is the data frame. I am trying to write it. Will it work? Do you think it will work or it will not work? So this is okay. Do you think it will work or it will not work? Can you tell me, friends? Can you guess it and tell me, will it work or it will not work? So remember, it will not work. The reason is you cannot connect to the database directly. You need to have a proper access. I'm going to execute this code from my cluster. Which cluster? This cluster. This particular cluster IP address, I need to get it. Okay. So now let's see first. Try to execute this. It will throw error. What it is saying? Mode. Mode is, I think, mode should be small m. Yes, this time it is running command. See, it is throwing error. What it is saying, you see, cannot open server, cloud server requested by the login. Client with IP address 13.68.2.13.99 is not allowed to access the server. To enable access, use the Windows, some other things. Okay. What happened is we have not enabled our firewalls. You remember, we were doing some firewalls. We need to add the firewall. Just click on set server firewall. Click add client IP. Okay, turn on allow Azure services and resources to access this server and save it. Okay, now we should be able to connect, but you see again we will get another error, kind of a firewall issue. Oh, 1 second. Okay, so so you see I just added the client IP and I have allow Azure services and resources to access this server. Azure Databricks is the Azure services or not? Azure Databricks is a Azure service. That's why it is allowing you to connect. But if you turn off this, it will not allow you to connect. Okay, fine. But now let me just connect to the database and see whether table is created or not. Okay, which table it should create? First table. Okay, now come here. Let me enter password here. Click on tables. Okay, custom table. Okay, let's say select the star from cust. Execute. See 3, 2, 1 records you got. Now come here. Let's say I'll just say table name is, yeah. Let's go with same table in the append mode. Append mode means to the existing data it will add the new data. Okay. Now we have previously 3 records. Now again I am writing these 3 records. Okay. Now I will have a duplicate records, but total I should see 6 records. You see 3 to 1, 1, 3, 2. So total message is 6. Now let's run one more time. Okay. Now you see, run this. Go to messages. You see total 9 records because every time it is keep on adding. Let's go with a mode called override. Execute it. Okay, it is overwrite. Overwrite means previous data it will remove and it will write the new data. So previously we have 9 records, it will remove those 9 records and the new records are these three. These 3 records it will write freshly. See only 3 records because previous 9 records it removed. That is the functionality of append and override. Okay, now I just comment this. Now I want to read instead of writing. What I want to do, okay, let it be otherwise. You just take this. Same things union. These all things is not required for you. Okay, yeah, anything is fine. Now you see, I want to read. This is the df dot same, right? JDBC URL connection properties. You no need to repeat again because same things we will use. Because you see, you have set this URL to this variable. You have created this dictionary and assigned to this. So if you use this JDBC URL connection properties anywhere in other cells, those will be the same. Okay, JDBC URL is same, connection properties is same. Now which table I am trying to read? Cust table. Okay, let's try to read the data. See 3 records we have. Now I want to filter out. Okay, what I want to filter, you see, it says something like this. Select a star from cast. Okay, let's say some filter we will apply. CID equal to 2. It's a df dot show. Only second record I'm getting. Okay, I want to select only C name and C location. C name comma C location. Execute it. Execute it. See, I'm able to read the data from the database. I'm able to read the data from database and I'm able to write data into the database. Is it clear or any questions? Please let me know if you have any questions. Can you hear me? Audio is fine, friends, or you are facing some audio issue?
So Malaya, we need to set the records in order. So we need to put the query there, right?
Yes, suppose if you want to put in a order, you can simply say something order by in which column. So CID, just explain.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Malaya.
Yeah. Now let's click on this. Let's say create notebook. I'll say basically say C Databricks to SQLDB. In which language? Default language is Python. Cluster is the cluster created. Okay. Now first thing you need to understand, we need to configure the blob storage. Okay, we need to configure the blob storage. To configure the blob storage, from the documentation you can get the details. Otherwise you can just, I will share the details, what details you need to take. So you can just whatever details I'm sharing, you can just with the help of these details you can try to connect to the data warehouse. But from the documentation also you can able to get all these details which I am giving you. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is we need to configure our storage. Understood? We need to configure the storage, but how to configure the storage? Okay, so very simple. I will show you that. You see, I just copied this particular configuration details. You see, spark.config.set. Okay, so this is basically a temp path. Okay, this is a temp path. I will tell you what all things you need to replace in this. I will tell you what all things you need to replace here. First, let's go to the storage. Go to resource. Click on containers. Click container. This you can say cloud container. Okay, this is the container. Okay, into this container I want to write the data. Just copy this container name. Come here. Here you need to put that container. Okay. Next, which storage? Your storage name is this one. Take this storage name. Come here. Put that storage name here. Okay, this is how you form the temp path. But to access this temp path, you also configure. You need to say this is the storage. If you want to access this particular storage, you need to set the storage key. That storage key, if you want to output it, you can output. Otherwise, I want to secure those keys. You need to read it from the Azure keyword. I will say scope is AKV connection. But now I have not stored my storage key in my keyword. What I will do? Go to storage account. Click on access keys. Show keys. Take this particular access key. Okay, now come to Azure keyword. Click on generate / import. So here you need to give the name. You can say blob key. So value you can enter here, created. Basically a blob key. Okay. Now that blob key I need to put it here. Understood? So first you need to set this. Exit. Okay, this is working. Next, temp path you need to set. Okay, so once we have set these two things, now our next job is to connect to the data warehouse. So what we will do again, what we have done. So in for database, same way, first we will see how to write the data. Okay, first we will see how to write the data, then we will see how to read the data. Okay, so this is the code for writing the data, isn't it? Whether it may be append or override doesn't matter, but this is the code. Okay, in this, you know, DF means I need to create the data frame. Okay, what I will do, go to recents, click on this database connection. Here I have created data frame already. Take this data frame, click on data, click on this df.show. What is the data frame? So this is the data I have. This data I want to write it into my data warehouse. Okay, now df, same df, write, I want to write the data from data I want to write. In which mode I want to write? In a append mode you want to write this data. Okay, so format is same format. Now you need to get the JDBC URL. You need to get the JDBC URL. How to get the JDBC URL? Okay, so for that, what you can do, go to data warehouse, click on go to resource. Go to connection strings, JDBC, take this entire thing, come here. So you just put everything, whatever you have. Okay. See entire. Okay. Otherwise, what you can do, just say here. JDBC URL equal to this is the URL. Okay, in this I will tell you what all things you need to replace. So just remove this, remove all these things which are not required. If you want to keep those things, you can keep. Okay, but you see, you have server name, we have data warehouse name, we have username, then we need to put the password here. Okay, what I will do for password is, password I will keep it in my Azure keyword, isn't it? So from Azure keyword I want to read the password. So for that, this is the syntax. Copy this syntax and give it here. Okay, this is how we need to go. So this is, I am ending the string here, then I am adding some variable here, then again I am using the semicolon. Okay, this is the final JDBC URL. I will print it and show you. But secrets, get, and AKV connection. AKV connection is scope is same, but key is I need to store my SQL data warehouse password. Okay, now come to Azure keyword. See, my actual SQL data warehouse password is same as SQLDB password. So if you want, if you think you will confuse, you can simply say SQLDB password. Otherwise, you can use the same key. Okay, created. So you need to say SQLDB password. Okay. Now let's try to print JDBC URL. Print JDBC URL. Execute. See, password is redacted. So what it means, this password you cannot able to read it. This password you cannot able to read, but password will come. Okay, this password you cannot read, but password will come. Okay, finally JDBC URL is ready. So now what you need to do for URL, you need to put this JDBC URL. Okay, now temp path. So you don't need to do all these things. For temp path, this is the temp path. Where is the temp? This is the temp path which you have created, right? Now that temp path I need to put it here. Forward Spark Azure storage credentials true, because you already set those keys here. That particular keys will be passed to this connection. For which table, into which table you want to write the data? Cust table, or let's say here EMP table. Whatever table name you have given, into that table will be created. Into that table, this DF data it will write. Okay, let's try to run it. So it will fail. So can you tell me why it will fail? Again, firewall issue. Firewall issue is later, but some spaces we have. Yeah, I just removed it. Run it. Expected character. Okay, let's try to run it now. It will throw firewall error. You see, Azure Synapse Analytics failed to execute the JDBC query produced by the connector. What is the issue? If you look at, the issue is firewall issue. You see, cannot open server. This server requested by the login. Client IP address 13 is not allowed to access. Same firewall we need to allow. So how to allow firewall for data warehouse? Click on firewalls and virtual networks. Add client IP. Turn on allow Azure services and resources to access this server. Click save. Okay. I just saved this. Now come here. Now let's try to write the data into data warehouse. See, this message you try to understand. I'm just copying and I'm pasting here. So what it is saying, waiting for Azure Synapse Analytics to load data, load intermediate data from, see this particular, first we have written data into this particular container, into this container. So what it is saying is, data is loading into Azure Synapse Analytics from this particular storage, meaning when you are writing data into data warehouse from Databricks, data is loaded into this container. From this container, data is loading into the Azure Synapse Analytics, that is Azure Data Warehouse. Now data is written. Okay, let's connect to the data warehouse and see. Click on query editor here. Let me give the password here. Click tables.
Malaya, their
See,
container means inside Gen2 only, right?
what?
Container means we are storing in Gen2. After that, it will be moved to data warehouse, right?
Correct, correct. So both will happen at once, but data will be loaded into container. From container, data will be loaded into the system. Select a star from EMP. Let's run it. See 1, 2, 3 records came. Again, if you run it, it's a append mode. What it will do? It will keep adding the data. Now come here, run it. You see you have total 6 records. Total map written records are 6. These 6 records I want to read it. Okay, same thing, copy, paste it here. Instead of write, you say read. When you are reading, it's not a data frame, right? You need to use a Spark session. Spark.read. Mode is not required when you are reading. Okay, you just remove this. Format is same, URL is same, temp directory is same, everything is same. Which table to read? This is a table to read. Instead of save, you need to say load. I want to load. Okay, this will give you data frame. Okay, this data frame I want to display df.show. Okay, execute. Invalid syntax. Where is invalid syntax format? Let's say, oh, 2 syntaxes. Okay, that's fine. See now, data is okay. Again, something happened. What is the problem? Let's see. What is the problem? Let's see. Okay. One thing you need to remember, whenever you are trying to read the data from data warehouse, okay, whenever you are trying to read the data from data warehouse, you need to create a something called master key. Okay. Now you may ask, why do you need master key? Okay. Why do you need master key? Okay, what happens is you will have a SQL data warehouse password. That SQL data warehouse password is encrypted. That is encrypted with a something called master key. Okay, basically whatever things are required for you to connect to the data warehouse, right? So all the data warehouse related passwords will be encrypted. That encrypted key is nothing but a master key. You understood? All the necessary backend passwords for your data warehouse will be encrypted with a encrypted. That encrypted key is nothing but a master key. Now what you need to do is you need to encrypt master key with your own password. With your own password, you need to encrypt master key. So for that, what you need to do, you need to execute this command: create master key encryption by. Okay, so I want to encrypt this master key. Okay, create master key. This particular master key I want to encrypt with my password. So what is my password? My password I just give here. Let's say 123. So this is the password. Okay, with this password I want to encrypt my master key. Okay, run it. Sure, you just have to select everything. Select everything. See, affected is 0. Okay, nothing will happen, but key, master key will be encrypted. Now come here. Let's try to read this data now. You will be able to read the data. Again, issue. What it is saying, please create a master key database, open master key session before this operation. Okay, read it. I think it was not saved or something. It was throwing error previously. Hey, what is happening? I created master keys and create master key encrypted by password. This is the password. just used.
Malay, I
we
think we are
connected
creating
to
for
database.
SQLDB.
We connected to database. That's the problem. Okay, we need to encrypt master key in data warehouse. Okay, you can see. Okay, run it. Okay, this time it is succeeded. Now come here. Let's try to read. You will be able to read the data. You understood? See, 6 records we have. Let's say I will write one more time. Let's write one more time. It's append mode, right? Let's write one more time. I have written 3 more records to the existing six records. If I read it, I should be able to see 9 records total. See 9 records. I'll just go with overwrite now. Overwrite more. Just overwrite. Now you try to read the data. Oh shit. Overwrite. When I overwrite, why I'm getting these many records? How come I am getting these many? I think overwrite is not finished or what. Let's run it once again. Overwrite. Now you try to read it. You understood. The reason is df I am using same variable. That is the reason. I need to say df1. First, let's create a df now once again. This df I'll just overwrite now. Df is having only 3 records. Okay. Now 3 records will be there. Overwrite. Now you just try to read it. You will get only 3 records. You see, we have 3 records. Now if you run once again overwrite means remove and add the new data. So I removed existing 3, again adding the 3 records. So after overwriting, if you try to read the data, now how many records will have? We'll have only 3 records. All the time we'll have only 3 if you go with overwrite. Let's say now I will go with append. The problem you understood, I assigned to same variable I use df here. That is the problem. Now you just try to read it. Now you will see 6 records. Okay. Clear, friends? Any questions? Anybody is having any questions?
Clear, Malaya.
Okay. Okay, then thank you all. Thank you. That's all for today.